All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to, I guess, the beginning of a new series. So we are, let me see if I can bring this up without leaking everything. There's a very big magic event. Hold on. Cat needs to leave the room. Okay, so there is a very big Magic the Gathering event happening in Australia. You may have heard about this. Let me see if I can do this without ruining everything. It is the MTG Spotlight Hobbit. It is likely going to be one of the largest events in Australia for Magic the Gathering. $50,000 prize pool. Here we are. Some more details. So I think it's 25K for first place, and then it splits in half down top 8, and then I think top 64 even gets some pricing as well. Does it say exactly what the pricing is? Nope. But anyway, I am going to enter this event. I haven't played proper competitive Magic for years. So what better way to get back into competitive Magic by entering the Open Series Spotlight event in Australia? And we'll be playing Modern. I enjoy the Modern format. Probably my second favorite format. If Modern Horizons didn't exist, it would probably be my first favorite format, but this is the world we're in. And I guess we better talk about what decks we are playing. Let me just quickly... No, that still stays there. Hold on. But Taco, how's it going? Benson, welcome. So we've already decided. Well, we've nailed it down between two decks that we want to play. Let me bring it up. So I have always been a fan of Tron. I love Tron. I love going 1-2-7. So we're either going to be playing Eldrazi Tron, or hopefully the list is still in here to make my life easier. We're playing Classic Tron. So if you somehow don't know how Tron works, you play the 3 Urza's lands. If you have all 3 or 1 of each type in play, you get to make 7 mana, and then you start casting stupid spells. So in the Eldrazi deck, it's Size of the 7 Deaths, or you're just ramping into like Thought-Knot Seer, Glaring Flesh Raker, and you just get to out-tempo your opponent. This is the Eldrazi Tron deck. For the classic Tron deck, you're usually just ramping into, where are we? Turn 3, Khan Great Creator, going into your sideboard and grabbing a sideboard piece. You're ramping into Ugin, Eye of Storms. And then eventually you're casting Emrakul, Ulamog, or even Devourer of Destiny. Now, currently, I am leaning on the classic version of Tron because it has no sideboard plan. And that's one less thing for me to think about. Effectively, the only thing that you might change is a single copy of Disruptor Flute for potentially a Dismember. But outside of that, Khan has access to your sideboard at all times during all of the games. And even if this stuff gets exiled, don't forget Khan's secret mode. You can get stuff from outside the game and in exile. So these are the two decks that I'm looking to play. Now, again, I haven't played competitive in a very long time, so I have hired some of Australia's best Magic players to coach me, to teach me how to get better at the game. And I'm hoping to impart that knowledge onto you all watching. So they'll be joining us in about 20 minutes. We're going to review some games that I've played, do some coaching, and then after that, we'll probably play a modern league. And then we need to talk about the MTG God Gamer Gauntlet, which is something that I want to try. We're going to get back to weekly streams at least for up until the Spotlight series, which obviously I'll be in Brisbane for that weekend. And then hopefully, well, I guess that's important. What's the goals here? So Spotlight is a big event. It's going to be huge, right? So I don't think I'm going to win it. I think it's going to be a real struggle to win the event. But I think getting top 64 is a reasonable goal to aim for. I mean, technically making it to day 2 would be amazing. But I think top 64 is the goal, is the dream. So that's what we want to achieve. And again, I haven't played hardcore competitive since. Hold on, let me see if I can find this. I think it. Let's see. Is this? I wonder if this will be in here because it's so long ago. Maybe it was this. I think it's so old. I'm not going to be able to find the thing that I wanted to show off because I think the real one is in my storage locker in New Zealand. Let me see if I can. Here we go. So it might be. Got it. Okay, I found it. So the last time I played hyper competitively, let me see if I can make this picture bigger. Oh, my guy's in the way. Where's my guy? There he is. 2010, 16 years ago at the New Zealand National Championship. I qualified for nationals on the day by going 5-0 at the qualifying event that they had on the day. And then I entered nationals and I think I got 30 something. I think I was like top 30 for nationals. So that was the last time I played competitively. And that's like the highest result that I achieved ever. So to come back into competitive Magic practically, or high competitive Magic 16 years later, I think top 64 is a good goal to try and achieve. Gecko, how's it going? It's 8 in the morning here, or like 8:30, 8:40 something. I will not be wearing my box on the head at the event. I'm going to go full gamer mode and just be in the zone. I'm gonna take it seriously. I want to win. I want to win. So let me just quickly load this up. Make sure no one sees my passwords. So we're doing all of the practicing and training as well, with thanks to the Magic the Gathering online team, because they have provided an account for me to play on and get some practice, which is good. Fun fact, my current MTGO win rate, I should have brought this up ahead of time, I believe is under 50%. I think they dug through my stats and brought it up, and I think it was like 48% or something. Having said that, I've been running some leagues already with the deck that I want to play, and my current rate is 7-3. So currently I have a 70% overall win rate with the deck. But again, this is all playing MTGO. And like I said, we're going to review some games with the coach. I played one of the craziest games of Tron I have ever played in my entire life. Not last night, the night before. Come on, MTGO. Let's go. Well, hold on. Why is this crashed? Oh, there we go. We're back. So the Spotlight is a modern format. So again, I've always liked playing Tron. So we are playing, it's a toss-up between this Tron deck, very classic Tron, or an Eldrazi Tron list. I really like this Tron list because I don't have to think about the sideboard. It is 14 cards. The only double up is Disruptor Flute, and effectively the game plan is you take out a Dismember and you put in an additional Disruptor Flute. That's it. And not to mention, I have all of the pieces of the Tron deck already outside of... I have all this dust. I just need to buy these cards, and I need to get some Labyrinths as well. So I think I've got to spend like an extra $200 to get my deck complete. I think everything else I already have. Oblivion Stone I think I might need to buy, but I'm pretty sure they're like dirt cheap. Pauper Orbs I have. Stone Brain I'm pretty sure I have. Again, like majority of these sideboard cards are dirt cheap. Torpor Orb I think is like the most expensive sideboard card. I think luckily I have one of those somewhere. Tronospheres I've picked up ages ago. All right, so we're just waiting for our coach, who should be joining us in about 10 minutes. He's going to show us some stuff. And then again, I'm going to try and the plan is whatever I learn, I want to share with you guys. So if you guys ever want to get competitive, like properly competitive, and want to play at a higher level, you can learn all the information as well. That's the plan. We're still like there's Tank and Cardboard. We're still going to be talking about rules and stuff, but I want to do some more competitive stuff. I don't want to play Commander. I don't want to play quote unquote competitive Commander. I want to play a proper what I believe is a enjoyable format. A 60 card format rather. Oh, that's right. I also need to get K commands. I think I bought 1K command the other day. So there we go. This is all I need for the rest of my deck, which should be easy enough to acquire. I don't know if we're going to have enough time. It's 8:48. I'm not sure if we're going to have enough time to squeeze in a game before our coach arrives. Let's just load up Arena while we're waiting. I think Legacy Tron. Let's have a look. Legacy Tron must be pretty close. You're right. Let's see. Eldrazi Tron. Yeah. Oh no! Apparently, Eldrazi Tron. I mean, Tron in Legacy is mono blue. Force of Negation, Stupor, Confluence, Force of Will, Lauren Revealed, Stock Up Flow State. How do you win? You're winning with Khan and Thunder Trap Trainer. Eldrazi Tron, more of a control-y deck again, and 3 copies of Archon of Emeria. Lotus Petal Monolith. Cloud Post. Oh, Legacy Tron has changed a lot since I last saw it. Blue Artifacts, not that. Can't believe Doomsday's a top tier deck. Oh yeah, while we're waiting, we might as well talk about the... Let me bring this up. This is the other new series that I want to do. Let's quickly talk about this. We got 10 minutes. So I want to achieve the MTG God Gamer Gauntlet. Now, for those of you who might be a fan of Ludwig, he has his video game God Gamer Gauntlet. I want to do the MTG God Gamer Gauntlet. The goal is you boot up a match of the main formats. This is MTG God Gamer Gauntlet Iteration 1. Standard, Pioneer, Modern, Legacy, Vintage. You play a game on MTGO against real players, and you have to win 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games in a row, one each format. Starting with Standard, Pioneer, then Modern, then Legacy, then Vintage. If we lose a single set, we go all the way back to the start. There we go. MTG God Gamer Gauntlet. Now, some people have already asked, well, what about Pauper? What about Pre-Modern? Those are on the list for potentially second iteration. I think right now we do classic MTG God Gamer Gauntlet. We just do the quote-unquote main formats, Standard, Pioneer, Modern, Legacy, Vintage. And then if we beat this, then we can add in Pauper and Pre-Modern. And I think this will be a good showcase to people of the formats, because hey, there's going to be some people out there that have only played Standard and they've not touched Pioneer, they've not touched Modern, they've not touched Legacy, they've not touched Vintage. Vintage is obviously extremely exclusive. So yeah, we're gonna do the MTG God Gamer Gauntlet. We are gonna attempt to run. So we're gonna do the coaching. After we do the coaching, which will be for about an hour, we'll make our first attempt at the God Gamer Gauntlet. I guess what we have to do is we need to put together our decks first. So I haven't worked out what decks we want to be playing. For Modern, we're going to be playing Tron. I think that's easy. Vintage, I mean, we've got Legacy and Vintage might change next BNR. We've got Fantastica dominating these two formats right now. So come August 10th, I believe, we've got the BNR there. So yeah, we're not going to practice the Fantastica deck, that's for sure. We're just going to play some classic decks of the format. Hold on, Coach has just messaged me. All right. Coach has messaged. We might get Coach to join us. Have they? Hold on one second, chat. All right. I think Coach might be joining us shortly. If you've got any questions that you want to ask Coach, put them in the chat. We'll probably have time to answer any questions. So if you've got any questions about anything to do with competitive Magic, get them in the chat. We've got an expert. He's willing to impart his knowledge onto us. So if you've got any questions, get them in the chat. Put like I don't know, the flag emoji next to them so I can spot them easier. And we'll get Coach to help us out. All right. I'm just gonna mute just while I get stuff sorted with Coach. So give me 2 seconds. Alrighty, chat. We are about ready here. Let me bring up the right scene. Oops, don't want to remove that one. I think this will probably be the most suitable one. And I'm going to shrink myself just a tad. All right, bring you into stream.
Mhm.
Think we're good. All right, can you just say hello?
Hello.
Think we're
Hi.
good. Yeah, chat. Let me know if you need me to change audio levels. Without further ado, let's introduce coach for my special coach for the upcoming Brisbane Spotlight Series. So, firstly, how do we introduce you? Do we use real name or do we use online handle? What do you want me to refer to you
Uh,
as?
Honestly, I don't mind too much. I usually know most people through Magic in person, so I usually just go by my normal name. Um, so yeah. Hi everyone. My name's Itai. Uh, should probably actually write that on here. Uh, j- uh, there we go. That's my name.
Itai.
Um,
Excellent.
yeah,
Welcome to the stream. So you've taken up the challenge of making me a world champion Magic the Gathering player.
exactly.
Excellent.
So yeah.
All right, go ahead. I'll let you do your thing.
Perfect.
Um yeah. Tell us about
So
yourself.
cool. I've just got a little presentation lined up. Just a little bit about myself, and then also I just want to talk about Magic and just competitive mindset in general, and a good way to think about Magic, basically. But yeah, my name's Itai. I've been playing Magic since 2020. I started in lockdown. I was introduced through Commander, which I think almost everyone is introduced that way to Magic these days. But I've like always enjoyed competitive games and stuff like that. And as soon as COVID was over, I got into competitive Magic with a friend, and since then have mainly been playing competitive Magic. I'm part of a team called Brain Prawns, that's based here in Australia. Um, I met all of them through Magic, and they've now become very good friends of mine, and we do stuff that's not Magic together as well occasionally. If anyone wanted to reach out to me for any reason, coaching questions, whatever. I don't use Twitter or X or other social media that much, so I've just put my Discord tag on the bottom left. You feel free to message me whenever. So yeah, but what do I like to play? What are my favorite formats, decks, that kind of stuff? Um, at heart, I'm a control player. It was the first deck I played when I um, first started playing competitive. It was through Pioneer, and I've played variants of Control in Standard and Modern as well. Um, but my favorite format is probably Pop, I'd say. I think just the metagame is a lot of fun. It's very open. It lets you brew a lot as well. So you aren't as restricted to meta decks as some other formats. Also, it's just really affordable and easy to get into because all the cards are really cheap. And on the flip side, I also really like Australian Highlander, or what's called 7 Point Highlander. It's definitely a little gated and can be more expensive, but I would definitely recommend giving it a shot if you ever get a chance. Um, but so like, why am I coaching? Am I a good player or not. Um, just my most recent achievements. Last year I top aided regional championship. I think it was nine or 10. Um, Here in Australia, that picture's on the right. There were 8 people. It's cropped. Um, and in the middle, I that's me competing at Pro Tour Edge of Eternities in Atlanta, and then on the left, I just thought it would be fun to include. That's the little picture of me they had scrolling at the bottom. I made a face thinking it would be funny and they wouldn't actually use it, and they did use it, so
That's
it
very
was
good.
fun. But yeah, so enough about me. What about Magic? What should be your goals um, coming into Magic as a newly competitive player or even as a um, seasoned competitive Magic player? Uh, full explosion. Mainly that's up to you. Um, some people will come to an event with the goal of just playing at their first big event, and some people will be trying to take down the entire event and expect to win. Realistically, you should probably be somewhere in the middle of those two. Making day two of a large event, such as a spotlight series, is a lot harder than it sounds. I think the requirement for Brisbane will be to go 6-3. 9 rounds is a lot of rounds of Magic, and it can really like wear on you. And going 6-3 is you're going to be playing against some really good players who will not let you make mistakes. Um, Noting that as a new player, even going something as positive can be a really big achievement. It means you won more than you lost, and that's a lot harder to do in paper when you're playing against some of the best the country has to offer instead of online. Um, but really, the main thing you should aim for in any event you go to is just improving as a player. It'll happen a lot where you come into an event, you feel prepared, you're ready, you're like ready to make top eight or whatever it is. But almost every event I've gone to, at the end of the day, I you finish and you feel like you've learned so much. If you were to do the day again from scratch, you'd perform better, you'd play different, uh, and you understand how your opponent's decks work, how your opponents play, stuff like that. And honestly, that's a good thing. It means you learn something, which is the most important part. But what does it take to win? So the first of and foremost thing about it is that Magic is a hobby, not a job. And you need to make sure you realize that. If you come into an event, you expect to make money, come out positive, you're going to be disappointed a lot of the time. Being able to make money in Magic is extremely difficult, and you need to put on a level of consistency that very few people, even in the world, can do, especially when you consider stuff like flights. Um, so really, the most important thing is to have fun. Uh, Go like organize to go to events with friends, check out artists' booths, check out the game store stalls, look at what they're selling, take part in side events. All that kind of stuff is really great. And as cheesy as it sounds, um, the gathering is a really big part of Magic and really what makes it a great hobby. If we just had to, there's a reason people play in paper a lot more than just sit and play Magic online um, as their only way to play Magic. Um, Not that there's anything wrong with it, but you know. So yeah, but in a tournament setting, uh, what you need to realize is that luck is a big part of Magic and honestly a big part of life. The way uh, what cards you draw, who you play against, the matchups you get paired into will all affect how well you go in a tournament. Playing nine of the same good matchup will obviously give you a better result than nine of the same bad matchup, right? But I think the most important skill you can have as a Magic player is knowing how to manipulate luck. So, for example, if um, you constantly feel like you're getting mana screwed every other game, then yeah, maybe you're getting unlucky, but maybe that means you should probably change your deck building. Maybe you should add more lands to make sure that you're not missing the land drops, for example. Um, if you feel like you're seeing a lot of decks that you don't have a way to beat, maybe you should change your sideboard plan a little bit. Add a couple cards that are good into those matchups. And that will maybe take it from an 80-20 matchup to a 60-40, which might not be favored still, but is definitely a lot more winnable and it makes a big difference. Um, but this also goes on the flip side for good luck. If you get good top decks, if you get lucky, but you don't know how to take advantage of that luck, it also means nothing. Um, Luck and variance is a huge part of Magic, but knowing how to manipulate it and make it work in your favor as much as possible is the best way to stay consistent, which really is what any good Magic player will try to do is just be consistent. Um, as for just mindset, it's always easy to blame bad luck, but you can always um, think about what you could have done differently. Maybe you got mana screwed, but maybe on turn two, when you played a surveil land, you put a land in the bin because you wanted to find a spell and then didn't end up drawing lands. Maybe next time, leave the land on top to make sure you don't do that. Uh, there's no necessarily right way to um, play any single game. Every game can go in a ton of different directions, and each decision will lead to a different game. But minimizing the chances of you getting unlucky is the best way to stay consistent and have good performances over a wide variety of events. So yeah, I want to just to introduce a concept of magic. Um, I a lot of people may have heard this word and the concept and what it means, but a lot of people don't really understand it that well. Um, and that concept is tempo. Uh, During a game, at any point, one player will be the aggressor and one player will be the controller. The aggressor will be trying to close out the game as fast as possible, and the controller will be trying to slow it down, stabilize uh, the board state, usually, and then try to take over the game and almost go above the aggressor. And tempo is very dynamic. It can change depending on which matchup you have. The classic is aggro against control. Aggro wants to just win as fast as possible, control wants to slow the game down. It can be play draw specific. If you're going first, usually you start the game with a bit more tempo compared to if you're going second, because you get to play to the board first. It could be specific on what cards you draw. If you keep an opening hand of small aggressive creatures, you're going to be the aggressor. If you keep a hand of removal spells, you're probably going to want to play a more controlling style. Um, your life total affects it. If you're on three, and your opponent has a three power uh, creature, then the creatures you have can't really attack into your opponent because if they swing back, they'll kill you. So there's already one creature you have to leave back as a blocker. Maybe you leave a second one back to make sure that they don't have a removal spell and then can get past you. And that lets them play a lot more aggressively. Even something as simple as getting mana screwed can be a form of tempo loss. If your opponent's on 2 mana and you're on 6 mana and you play your 6 drop, you have way more tempo. You want to finish the game and close it out as fast as possible before your opponent draws more lands and has a chance to get back into the game. And tempo can even change a lot during a game. Um, if you manage to board wipe your opponent, the tempo can swing. All kinds of stuff like that. So, just as an example and to help explain the concept, let's take Boros Energy. Since we're going to be playing Modern, let's take the most played Modern deck as an example. The way the deck's constructed, it's pretty simple. You have efficient creatures you want to play on curve, you have a little bit of removal, and you have some disruption pieces, stuff like Blood Moon, to hinder an opponent's game plan while you execute yours. So let's look at two matchups and talk about how they might look. Uh, in a Tron vs Energy match, uh, the dynamic of the game is that the Tron deck will eventually go over you. Their threats are scarier, the creatures they have are a lot bigger, and you have inevitability as a Tron player if the game goes long enough where the energy player will just no longer be able to win. So the energy player will prioritize keeping hands with not much removal, um, just a curve of guide into pride into a Johnny, and just trying to attack the Tron player down as fast as possible will be their best bet. A good way to think about it is if the Tron player has 2 Tron lands in an expedition map, but are on, say, 8 life and the Boros player has 8 damage on the board, it's a lot harder to fetch with the expedition map to get your third Tron land if you need that mana to deal with the Boros energy player's creatures. You need to be able to stop them from winning before you're able to execute the game plan. And the Boros energy player will have the tempo and try to close out the game before the Tron player takes control of it. Um, Amulet Titan is has been around forever in Modern, and that's a good example of a deck that tempo switches a lot. During the first maybe 2 turns, for example, the energy player will want to just play as many creatures as possible to pressure the Titan player's life total. But on the third turn, which is usually the turn where the Titan player tries to combo and win, you might hold up some disruption pieces. Maybe you have a way to remove Titan if it's played. Maybe you have a way to mess with their lands. All kinds of things. But if they try to combo, or when they're threatening to combo, the Titan player will have the tempo because the Boros player is forced to interact with them to stop them from winning. But if the Boros player would manage to do that successfully, if they stop the Titan player from winning, the tempo will immediately swing back in their favor. Because if you give Titan too much time, they will find a new way to combo again, and you want to close out the game before they have a chance to do that. Uh, so yeah, deck choice is obviously a big part of any uh, Magic tournament, any Magic event, and the best advice I can give you is play what you like and what you're most comfortable on. Deck expertise is a lot more valuable than deck win rates. If you know if you've cooked up an absolute storm and you've been sweeping FNMs with it the past couple weeks, and you about to go to a big event and you look at the metagame charts and your deck's nowhere to be seen, doesn't matter. Continuing, you know your deck well, you know you how to play it, the lines, um, the matchups, all those kind of things, and you'll generally do a lot better than just if you take the most recent challenge Boros Energy winning list and play that with no experience. Because again, you won't know the lines, you won't know how the deck functions, and you won't be able to play it as well as you do your own deck. Galglen Multani is probably a bit exaggerated. If you manage to brew something with that, it'd be very impressive. But I wanted to put just a fun card in the thought bubble. So yeah, if you have one takeaway from this entire thing is that Magic is a hobby. You're here to have fun, and if you are competitively inclined and like to win, then you're also here to improve. Wanting to win an event is great, but if you didn't win your last event and you go to your next event and you haven't improved, then it's probably not going to go any better. As long as you focus on improving as you get better, you results will just come your way. So, yeah, that's my little slideshow. Thank you for watching.
Excellent.
And
Thank you.
yeah.
Very, very informative there. And I definitely think you're right about the whole I just try to have fun. Because
Mm,
I know I think past me when I was hyper competitive, losses impacted me like big time. It was like, ah,
mm.
it just ruined my mood for the or I guess like the whole event or even going forward to be
Yeah.
very salty. Uh, the last big event I was at, uh, it was the Riftbound regional qualifier, and it was obviously my first big competitive Riftbound event. And I did go there with a goal in mind. I wanted to win one of the like, ultra rare prize cards. Um, that was the goal. We did get there, but I think going through my head while I was at the event was I just want to experience it. I just want to play the highest level of competitive Riftbound that I can and just have fun. And I think that's the same headspace that I'm going into Spotlight. At the end of the
Mm,
like, as much as I want to like make day 2 top 64, top 32, like that would be awesome to achieve. I think for me, at the very least, I'm just going. I just want to have fun. Just go in there, gonna experience it, meet everybody, and hey, if we make day 2, fucking awesome. If we don't, ah
mm.
well, good. It was a good experience nonetheless.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the Riftbound Regional was amazing. I think also I feel like part of the reason it was so fun is because of how I felt everyone there and around me was just happy to be there and be playing a big event. Um, Also the game's good, but yeah, I think into the Spotlight series, it's the first really big event we have here in Australia, and it's
There's
we
people
haven't,
flying in.
at least
We've
in the
got
recent years.
we'll have
Mm,
Japanese players flying in because obviously Japan's a lot closer to Australia than
mm,
America. I mean, I think there's going to be some Americans flying in and some of the Europeans because it is still a big event. $50 thousand
mm.
dollars. Is it 50? Is 50K for first prize, right? Or is it 25 for first
No, I
and
think
then?
it's 50K split among
Okay, so it's
like
20.
as prizing total.
That's right. So it's 25K first prize.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, I think it's
Don't
25.
quote me on it,
No,
but
yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 25 and then it's the 25 split down from there. But yeah, it's
mm,
still massive tournament and yeah, arguably one of the biggest Magic the Gathering events in Australia.
Yeah. And we haven't had anything like that in the past years. So, yeah, honestly, I'm really keen for it. I think my goal is just day two.
Yep.
Um, that way, I also like setting goals that are a little bit lower, or not lower. Day two is definitely still a solid goal to have, but setting yourself up as like, I'll only be happy if I top four is
Yeah.
just like as
Asking for
soon as you
disappointment.
exactly. But yeah. Um, so do you want to get into some matches?
Yeah, so for context chat,
Mm.
I played some MTGO leagues this week. Uh, surprisingly, as I mentioned earlier on stream, my record did go. I went seven wins out of 10 matches. So I did send across a couple of the matches where we're either extremely close or I was a bit unsure of. And I think for me, the playing those matches, there was obviously the one match I sent through, which was the living end matchup, where I just didn't know what to do. And then I think the other thing that I really wanted to get into is mulligans, because there's so many times where I would have a hand and I'm just like, do I keep? Do I mulligan? I forgot to send them through. On your side, you might want to full screen it, the video.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Perfect.
But
Uh, I might actually, hold on. I will change this layout just so the video can be a bit bigger on our side. Where are we? Display capture. Um, yeah, there were just some hands where I'm just like, I don't know to keep or not. So,
yeah,
uh,
I think
I
it
think
would.
I think
Yeah.
it's probably best if we do start at the beginning with opening hands for
Mhm.
Tron. So if I tell you what I look for, I guess you could tell me if I'm
Yeah.
right or wrong. So obviously the dream is I just draw plant, mine, power, and then I have my 7 drop in hand. That's the
Mhm.
obvious dream. Usually it doesn't go that way, and I think the bit where I get unsure of is when I have the whole I draw one Tron land, Ugin's Labyrinth, and then maybe I got like a couple of bombs, and then maybe I'll have either maybe like another Ugin's Labyrinth or a Mine Honor. I've actually got. Let me. Oh, I screenshotted some examples.
Mhm.
Um, let me see if I can find these. Um, so, objectively
Yeah.
bad one.
One thing with
Here we go. Yeah,
opening
I've got
hand
one.
as well is that for the spotlight, the hands you keep will change throughout the event. Day one is a closed deck list, and then day two is open deck list.
Yep.
So closed deck list is a very different thing where you're more inclined to keep hands that benefit your game plan, while in something like open deck lists or even games two and three of a match, you are much more inclined to keep hands which disrupt your opponent's game as well.
Hmm.
Those
I
kind
think
of cards increase in value.
yeah, obviously knowing what you're up against is does make mulligan decisions um you know
Mm.
easier. So like this hand, I don't know if you can see on
Yes,
the
I've got
screen.
on a second stream.
So this is a hand I'm talking about where it's like, okay,
Mm.
I have 2 pieces of Tron. I'm 1 Tron land away, and then I've just got a bunch of high end stuff, and then 1 Mind Stone. So is
Mm.
this again? And let's just assume that this is game one. I don't know what I'm
Yeah.
up against. What's your say on this hand?
Look, this one's probably very close. I think in the games you sent me as well, there's a couple decisions in the hands that like I wanted to talk about.
Yeah,
Um, but I think overall that is a pretty playable hand.
yeah,
Even if you've got 4 mana, and even if you don't draw anything else, and that leaves you open to playing a Khan, I think the reason I like this hand is it gives you a lot of outs through the top of the deck. The Devourer of Destiny obviously lets you look at um, by your first draw step, you'll be able to see 5 cards. What I mean by that is that it will look at 4. If they're not good, then you will get to see a fifth. If you find a Tron land or an expedition map, awesome, but it can also let you find a mid-level threat kind of thing.
yeah,
Where if you see a Khan, you'd be happy. If you see something like, yeah, it leaves you open to a lot, and even something like an Ugin's Labyrinth from this hand is very like turns it on, right? I think again it depends. In closed deck list, I'd probably be inclined to keep this at least in game one. Um, but if, for example, you were up against a deck such as Affinity,
mm,
this would be too slow.
yeah.
So yeah.
I'm pretty sure I did end up keeping this hand, but literally because of the
Mm,
reasons you said, where it's like, okay, I have an initial 4 looks with Devourer, and then yeah, you effectively got 2 more draws after that if you if it's going to work or not. So I think I did keep, and I think that the hand did pan out well enough. I'm pretty sure from Devourer, I
mm,
saw something worth like making his hand good. But yeah, I think in this deck especially, Devourer has been like one of those. Because again, you're it feels like you're when you have Devourer in hand, you can keep some sketch hands purely
mm,
because you are looking for more cards deeper.
yeah.
That's one other thing I want to quickly ask as well. Is a question that kept coming up in my head, and I was never sure
Mhm.
what to do. Let's just say we have the same hand, and we just swap out an Ugin for another Devourer. So we've got 2 Devourers in
Yeah.
hand.
Cool. That is one thing I wanted to talk about.
Perfect, because
You
I
should always
always do
do all
both.
of the triggers.
Ah,
Yes.
okay, because
If you
I
have 3, you should do 3.
because the
Because
yeah, no, go
look,
on. You're the expert. I'll let you
yeah.
explain.
So it's definitely scary exiling like a lot of cards,
Yeah.
but the way you can think about it is instead of one Devourer looking at 4, you have like one Devourer trigger in quotations looking at either 7 or 8 cards, right? If you your first Devourer looks at the top 4 and you find exactly um one if and you find what you're looking for, right? Then like for this hand, right? If you find that Tron land, then cool, your second trigger will go off and you'll just keep that Tron land on top again, and nothing has really changed. If you don't find it though, you can get rid of those 4 and then look at the next 4 and try find it. So you've dug like already 8 cards deep
Oh,
looking
yeah.
for what
I
you
think
need.
I've just realized. So in my head, it was I had to pick one of the 4 to
Yeah.
put.
So it's
Now that you
not
say you don't have to pick, it's like, oh yeah, no, yeah. Of course, I should be looking at the top 8
mm,
cards of my deck instead of the top 4.
it's
Uh,
weirdly not intuitive where like the when you read it, it reads like look at the top 4 and then just look at the top 4 again, and your first instinct is to be like, well, that's you're just looking at the same cards, but because it exiles the other pieces, you're actually looking at like at least 3 new cards, which is a lot deeper. So yeah.
all right, good, because that was what I get. As you said, you would have seen in the games
Mm,
where I had 2 Devourers and I only ever revealed the one because I was like, ah. Not sure. Like, like you said, it is scary exiling all those cards.
Mm. But yeah, look, when I think as a player, it takes mentally quite a bit of effort to ignore the top of your library because seeing a good card get exiled is rough. The same goes for when you're playing against a mill deck or something. When they mill you and you mill over a good card, it feels bad, but really the way you need to think about it is that you had no access to that card before the trigger, and the like trigger exiling it off your library, anything like that, doesn't actually really change your access to that card
Yeah, it's
because
like
it's not
those cards could have been on the bottom of your deck anyway, effectively.
exactly. It's just because it got exiled doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. It just means you won't be able to draw it this game, but it's still got like you didn't have it before and you don't have it now, so nothing has really changed,
Yeah.
right? Um, if you're exiling the top 30 cards of your library, some cards are going to disappear. That's a lot more impactful. But when you're only exiling four,
Yeah.
it's relatively fine. So yeah, um,
So just for context for stream as well. So this is the Living End matchup.
mhm,
So
yes.
this is in the league that I ran. This is me playing obviously the classic Tron deck that I showed on stream earlier. And Living End, just really quickly, if somehow you don't know what the Living End deck does, they're going to cycle a bunch of cards, put a bunch of creatures into their own graveyard. They're eventually going to hit, and this is a card I totally forgot about because they unbanned Violent Outburst.
Mm.
Like what, 2 ban lists ago or something, but they're
I
going to
think it
look
was
to
the most
cast.
recent one even. Oh no,
Was it?
yeah, no, it was the one before, the one before.
And
Oh,
then
recently.
yeah, very recently. Usually it's just Shardless Agent, so they do it at sorcery speed. But now, thanks to Violent Outburst, which I totally forgot about, they can do it instant speed at the end of your turn. They hit Living End. Sorry, the Violent Outburst is basically just 3 mana Cascade. They hit Living End, and they bring all those creatures back into play, and then usually attack you for lethal. Anyways, sorry, back to you.
Yep. So, speaking of mulligans, you end up mulliganing this hand. And I think, especially because here you're on the blind, like we
Yeah,
know that it's a living end because we have hindsight and it's recorded. But here in the blind, I think this is actually a really strong hand.
yep,
And one I'd probably keep. You have two of the Tron lands. You have Kozilek's Command, which even going like turn one tower, turn two mine, turn three entertainment, and then Kozilexing for scry one draw
mm,
to dig for your third piece, fourth land, whatever it
yep.
is pretty um impactful. Uh, and you've got a decent chance to hit something. Not only that, but also you've got really good interaction. You've got two dismembers against again this because we know it's living end. Mulliganing it, Abstergo Entertainment makes it
Oh
maybe
yeah,
keepable,
yeah.
but thinking about most decks in the meta, having two dismembers in your opening hand, giving you time to dig for your third Tron piece, and then being able to follow it up with an All Is Dust is a very good game plan.
So then, okay, so
Meta thing.
that's something. When I looked at this hand, I
Mhm.
didn't consider Kozilekking for one. I thought that was a waste in my head because obviously, so if I'm looking at this hand, or when I looked at this hand, I saw All is
Mm,
Dust, effectively dead card. Kozilek's Command. In my head, it's a waste to cast it for X equals 1. So I
mm,
thought, you know, now that you've said it, yeah, I'm definitely wrong. But in my head, it was like, it's not doing anything. And then the two dismembers, I just looked at that and saw -8 life against an aggro deck, and was
mm,
like maybe I can get something better. I think I was trying to mull towards Um, like again, having a bigger, more obvious threat, but
Mm,
as you've obviously succinctly put it,
yeah.
Kozlecking for one can be fine when you need to.
Yeah, not getting the full value of your cards is okay. It always feels bad, but it's overall an okay thing. Uh, one also thing that you could do here, it's Abstergo also like filters into black, so you really could play
Yeah.
2 life, but you'd need 3 mana to do that, so it's
Hmm.
like not really there. But cards like All Is Dust isn't really a dead card because if you're not getting to something like 7 mana during the course of a game, you're probably losing anyway. It means you didn't manage to do your game plan, right? But just because this hand has disruption and like 2 out of 3 Tron lands already, plus uh like plus a third land, right? Um, most top decks here turn this on. Like there's not a lot of cards you'd be unhappy seeing off the top. So yeah. Um, but mulligan this doesn't matter. This no lands, mulligan, cool, and yeah,
Yeah.
you're stuck with this. I think here, um, yeah. So this is you're down to 5. You putting
I
the
think
those
Ugin's
two on
back
the
in.
bottom was correct. But here you've already facing a pretty like big decision on turn one with whether you play expedition map or bauble. So I think this hand is, for what it's worth, a keep. Going down to 4 is 2 little cards,
So do you?
and
I guess
yeah.
quickly on that's always a
Mhm.
question. Do you ever go to 4? Like,
Uh, you can.
yeah,
I think that the thing is with 4 that you never. It's very hard to get a hand that will both get you Tron and a threat, right? 4 cards is just not enough cards to do that very well.
yeah,
So I you Tron decks can go down to 3 really, but in in like 3 and 4, you are really hoping that the top of your deck just bails you out, which
yeah,
in some situations might be correct. Your hands just aren't keepable. This is a lot more in open deck lists, right? Where if you knew what your opponent was playing and you that a hand like this wouldn't win, you'd be able to go down to 4. Um, as for which one to play here, I think it, playing the map here is better because it opens you to top decking a land,
yeah,
and then uh, at the very worst case, you can get like an Ugin's Labyrinth something that will can try get you to Khan or whatever, like any land, right? Um, if you knew your opponent was on something like a affinity, then you'd probably open Vexing Bauble
yeah,
so that they can't go off turn one.
yeah.
But again, in the blind, Expedition map is correct. It opens you to top decking a land. Um, I think you miss your next land
Yeah,
drop or two.
it's
Um,
it's a bit of a
yeah.
struggle, but I do think it is funny that I do have the Vexing Bauble into the
Mm.
Living End matchup, so that's why I didn't just auto scoop because like, oh, okay, there is a tiny window here.
I think in some of your games, you had a couple opponents that scooped at very weird moments throughout the game where they weren't really losing.
Mm,
Um, and yeah, I mean, like here you just can't do much.
yeah,
You're doing your best, is what you're doing. We'll skip forward a little bit to see when your opponent's just kind of like cycling. Uh,
yeah, because yeah, I completely forgot they can
okay,
answer Bauble eventually.
yes. So here, when they answer, so here they play Wistfulness to answer Bauble, and you crack it. So 2 things. Firstly, um, using the mana to crack the Bauble here makes it so that you can't crack your expedition map.
Hmm.
And something you can do here. Firstly, you know they're on living end. Disruptive Flute is really good in this matchup because you can just play Disruptive Flute, name Living End, and then they need to get to 6 mana to be able to play their Cascade spell and then also their Living End.
Yep.
Because their Living End will cost them 3 mana. Um, and they played the land for turn already, I think.
We're on turn
Uh,
5.
let's see. Okay, no, they haven't yet. So by you cracking the bauble here, it leaves you open to them playing land. They've got 7 cards in hand. They have a lot of cards. If they play land plus Cascade creature,
Mm.
they get their graveyard back. If you hadn't cracked the bauble, it leaves you up to 2 plays. Firstly, the card isn't that valuable at this moment because you've got a relatively strong hand. You just really need a land, right?
Yep.
So drawing one off the bauble is just worse than getting one off the map, right? Here you could just wait them out. If they play a cascade spell, you play Disruptor Flute and you celebrate. You've got they cascade into living end, they can't cast it, you fizzle one of their things, and
Yep.
you're happy. Otherwise, you can crack the expedition map. Here you'd want to I think you do get an Ugin's Labyrinth, and then you're able to cast Khan immediately on your turn,
Yep.
go to your sideboard and get a Torment
Uh,
Script.
yeah. Smart.
Right? You have the Devourer of Destiny to exile with it, and it gets you to 4 mana. As much as Tron is the name of the deck, one thing you need to keep in mind, and that I saw you doing over the games, is getting too attached to the idea of actually assembling Tron.
Hmm.
The game, you have Eldrazi Temples, you have Ugin's Labyrinths, and those are also both really strong lands.
Yep.
Like, something even stronger than Tron on turn 3 is going Ugin's Labyrinth into Khan, right? Getting Khan on turn 2 is ridiculous. It's very. It's just really hard to deal with a Planeswalker like it on turn 2, right? Because here
Yep.
we can see it goes to your turn, and now you're forced to crack the map, play the Ugin's Labyrinth, and then the Disruptor Flute. And I think you get the Ugin's Labyrinth, um, and yeah. Honestly, you can make an argument for both. You're not really looking to cast either, and
Yep.
Emrakul, yeah. Here though, I think
Yeah. I
it's
mean, looking back on it now, it's like
yeah.
maybe I should have just played out Khan. I think,
Um,
or maybe I'm thinking, I can't remember. I think maybe I was all in on in my head, and anyway, I think I was all
mm,
in on Disruptive Flute, and then potentially leaving up Kozilek's command as well. I think
mhm.
was my idea. Like going, let's just assume that they just have another turn of cycling, and then it's like,
Yeah,
okay, I can just K command at the end of their turn, and then I'm like, back in complete business. I think was my
yes.
thought process.
Makes sense. Um, so the like for example, this is wait, why are the lands untapped? Okay, yeah. So here, for example, um, pretend pretend this is their end step. You haven't drawn the Ugin yet, right?
Yeah.
Because they only have the 4 lands with wistfulness. It's a very safe spot to like here. I'd even if you can fetch on your end step and get Khan, um, they can have Force of Negation. And here, I think a much safer play would be to play out the flute
Yeah. I think
because
I,
on their end step, they don't have access to Force of Negation
yeah.
and they don't have a chance to play a Cascade spell in this like little. They don't have a pocket where they can play around it, right?
I think
Because
that was my other thinking as well, is not playing Khan, because if I play Khan, they just force a negation, then it's like, okay, great. But and again, this is where, because I'm thinking in my head, they're only going to play Sharpless Agent. Like I did not consider Violent Outburst at all until they
yeah.
cast it.
Um, but yeah, the fact that they do it on your end step, lets, like, even though you flute, they have the force of negation.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah, they do. Yeah,
And
basically,
that's like, yeah. Um, and here they just reanimate everything, attack, and win.
yeah.
There's not much you can do there. So with, that's,
Oh
is
yeah,
there?
this is a weird bug.
Yeah.
It
No,
goes
I know.
away.
I just want to see your sideboard without the bug. Um. Okay. Oh. Okay. Cool. So one thing I saw, Tron can sideboard.
Mm,
The vast, like, you are a toolbox deck and you do want a lot of things to be available to Khan, but a lot of cards will be stronger in your main board compared to your sideboard. And the reason for this is that you sometimes getting something off Khan is simply too slow,
yeah,
right? Um, the best example is Disruptive Flute. Uh, in in a game like this, Disruptive Flute, I would want all four copies in the main board,
yeah,
because it lets you want to, if you get to um, cast Khan for 4 minus grab a Disruptor Flute and then play the Disruptor Flute, it's probably already past the window where they can cascade on turn 3. And so it's you the Disruptor Flute is a lot more useful in the main board. Same goes for Stone Brain here. As much as it's good to have 4 copies of Stone Brain in the main board to immediately, like, you play out Khan, you grab Stone Brain, you play Stone Brain, you crack Stone Brain. It's a very slow play. Um, for example, even if you do get the Dream Tron curve of 127 on your, like, 7 turn, you play Khan, you downtick, you get Stone Brain, you play Stone Brain, and then you only have 1 mana left. So you need to wait for an entire another turn cycle before being able to crack the Stone Brain and get rid of your opponent's living ends. So I like sideboarding with Tron is simpler than most other decks because you want a lot of stuff to stay in the sideboard, but there are a lot of cards that just perform better in the main board and that you won't necessarily want to get off Khan in certain matchups. Um, the best example in some matchups, you Cityscape Leveler, Extinguisher Battleship, and Walking Ballista are all kind of like your big boy threats, right? If you're in a winning position, if you want to close out the game, if you want to put a lot of pressure on your opponent, usually grab one of these.
yep.
But the odds that you will grab all 3 with Khan is very low. So, in some instances, you can board one of them in. Usually, Walking Ballista you keep in the sideboard, but one of these two, they can even come into your main board to give you a good top deck. It's essentially a way of thinking of it. You're adding a 5th Khan into your deck
Hmm.
because you've got they are game-ending threats, and this is the threat you would get if you were playing with Khan, right? And if you draw a Khan before it, you still have your other one, which fills a very similar role.
So just to check, with
Mhm.
the Khan board, is there any cards you feel that are basically locked to the sideboard, like you should never bring them into the main deck? Or are you saying that um there's potentially a reason to bring, each of them at throughout the course of a tournament?
Probably the second one. Um, it's very nice to have this, especially game one, because you get to see your matchup, you get access to a sideboard card that will have a big impact on your opponent, right? The cards that I probably would never bring in are Torment Script for one, unless you're against a like turn one or turn two deck because you can't get a con by that time, really,
Yep.
or not most of the time. Um, really, the question you want to ask is if I want to see a card in a matchup, will I have time to play Khan and then grab it, or
Yep.
will I have to play it before a Khan to be able to play Khan? Right? So Modern's a very fast format, and so you need to be able to adapt to it. A Trinisphere is probably the best example of this, where playing it on something like turn 2 with an Ugin's Labyrinth will slow your opponent down tremendously. But grabbing it off a Khan probably means your opponent has 3 or 4 mana already, and so even though it will definitely slow them down,
Yep.
if they have play cantrips, stuff like that, they will still be able to play spells. I think some cards that you never bring in, uh, Torment Script, uh, is probably one you keep in the sideboard, except for like extreme situations. And Snaring Bridge is usually a card that its main function is to protect your card, so
Yep.
you wouldn't bring that in often either. Um, Liquid Metaclothing, same thing. The reason you play this is the synergy with Khan, so you don't really want to see it without Khan. Uh, and I'd say Walking Ballista as well. It's
Yep.
not a card you really want to see throughout a game. It's kind of once it's just your end game closer, and if you're in a position to want it, it's always the thing you're grabbing.
Uh,
Um,
one thing, I don't know if you want to discuss it now or potentially after these games, is just the card choices for the sideboard in general. Like
mm,
in the 10 games that I played, there were just some cards, like for example, Oblivion Stone, Silex, where I'm like, I'm don't I'm not going to touch these cards.
mhm.
Do you think? Yeah. Again, I don't know if this is a now question or a later question, but that's something. Yeah, I guess I
Yeah.
want to find out.
So the thing is, this is Eli Casisa's deck list from
I think this is the
the
most recent.
photo of
Yeah.
last week. Yeah, and he's a better player than me. I will
Yep.
trust his judgment over mine.
Yep.
But as a general thing, just because this deck was constructed for that tournament,
Yep.
but the reason there's Trinisphere's main board in one side, for example, is because Ruby Storm was a lot of people expected it to have a very big meta share,
Right.
and it didn't. Overall, it didn't end up performing very well, but something like that is definitely like Trinispheres are there when you expect a lot of decks such as Prowess, Ruby Storm,
Mm.
uh, Affinity, even because or Affinity less so because Trinispheres come out usually a bit later than they play all the zero drops,
Yep.
but it's a medical, right? If there's cards, I think for the most part, the best way to do a deck is copy off someone who is better than you
Yep.
and play the deck, see how it is, and then if there are cards that you really like don't need or want or don't find yourself getting, then they're perfectly reasonable cards.
Hmm.
Like just because someone else, even if they're better, it doesn't mean they're necessarily correct.
Yep.
Um, and I kind of agree with you. Oblivion Stone is here as kind of like a safety net of catch all, but won't usually you kind almost have more efficient answers to things.
Mm,
Against creature decks, you have Ensnaring Bridge. Extinguisher Battleship is a board clear as well. Absolutely love this card.
yep.
Um, Torpor Orb, as well. Probably also a little bit more of a niche card in the meta call. Um, like some stuff you probably won't. Same as Filigree Silex. It's I think against like cutter decks it's really good. Against Tron deck, not Tron decks. Sorry, Affinity decks. It also blows up a lot of their zero drops. The cards here have uses, but if you're not seeing those decks as much and not expecting them,
Yep.
they're perfectly reasonable cards. One really one good card that one of your opponents plays in one of the leagues, for example, is here is Sky Sovereign,
Yep.
and it's really good in the mirror because what'll happen is if you play your Khan first and get Sky Sovereign, if they then get their Khan and down to grabbing something, you can just play the Sky Sovereign and kill their Khan,
Mm,
right? Um, but there's lots of artifacts in the game, and you can definitely um, change out the sideboard. Don't net decking is a really good place to start, but it's not always a good place to finish, if
yep.
you get what I mean. So yeah, sideboarding here for Living End, I think as uh Dismember here does basically nothing.
Yeah.
Um, their creatures just aren't threatening
Yep.
at all, really. So I think a good place to start would just be you can cut all three. You can bring in uh
So I think
so
I
if
just
you
do
cut three like that,
the one dismember for
yeah.
the flute because again in my I'm
Mhm.
playing with the mindset of leave one in so I can can it when I need to.
Yes.
But obviously, as you've mentioned earlier, it's probably better to just have all four in the deck so you can play it
Mhm.
on turn 2 instead of turn 5.
Exactly. So having something like a disruptive flute, I'd probably cut the three dismembers, bring in the two disruptive flutes and a stone brain.
Yep.
Um, the Trinisphere, I don't really see something you'd love to cut otherwise. Um, Chalice of the Void does stop living end. Um, does it?
Yeah, yeah.
Wait.
It's 0
Yeah, yeah,
costs.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And yeah, maybe one of these. But honestly, I think cutting the three dismembers, adding two flutes and a stone brain would be good. But yeah, so let's go forward until this. Yeah, so here, um, this is an awesome hand because you instantly have a Kozilek. If this was a disruptor flute or a stone brain, that would be
Yeah.
incredible. But yeah, here for example, you only reveal one Devourer of Destiny,
Yep.
which we've talked about it. There's no point going over it again. Um, and yeah, I think you
Yeah,
grab
just keep the
the
flute here,
distro.
surely.
Yeah, which is definitely correct. Um, yeah, cool. So I think um here are a couple things. You want to deploy the flute in a way that plays around force and negation, but they could have stuff like wistfulness as answers. So doing it, for example, on this upkeep gives them a really easy turn of just playing a wistfulness,
Yep.
right? So it's good to like hold on to the flute, which I think you do, which is nice.
I think
Um,
yeah, in my head here, I'm
mm,
um just waiting for them to basically cascade and then do it
yep.
then in my head. But obviously now I know that they've got violent outburst, so I know I need to again still do it during their turn, but obviously before yeah, and I think there
Mhm.
I do it there because I think I've seen the wistfulness and I'm like, okay, just do
Yeah.
it now.
Honestly, the fact that they've played Willfulness does make this decent because they need a second one or like a
Mm,
different something to deal with it. I like it. Um, it's just yeah. Uh, if they hadn't played a Wistfulness, I might hold on to it. Playing it here is probably the best way to do it because it lets you play it before they have Force of Negation available for free on your turn and before they're able to cast something like Violent Outburst.
Yep.
Because it's like the thing of both your answer and their threat are at instant speed, and whoever plays their one first loses, but you always have to keep the mana up for it. Okay, so one thing with Kozilek's command, it says instant, it is a very good sorcery as well. Um, Here, like, it's fine that you didn't play it, but some of your other games, I
Mm,
definitely think you misplay the card
yep.
because one thing about it is that it lets you search and get your mana back. The card's busted, right?
Yep.
Like, I think the modes you pick here as well are also wrong. Um,
Right.
the
So
exile,
again,
yeah.
just from my head, I'm
Mhm,
thinking, okay, Living End. Obviously, I just want to get stuff out of their graveyard, and then
mhm,
I'm ramping towards Ugin. I'm pretty sure I miscounted it here as well because I think next turn
mhm.
I go to cast Ugin and I'm like, I don't have enough mana to
Yeah,
do
the
this.
Eldrazi Temple's confused.
Yeah.
Um, so one good way to think about exiling cards from a graveyard, the only time you do that is if they have a living end of the stack, basically.
Yeah.
Um, because yeah, like you said, you want to get Ugin down next turn, and it doesn't let you. Secondly, their graveyard currently they still have 7 cards in hand, so they definitely have some cyclers in there. Plus subtlety and wistfulness, if they bring those back into living end, aren't the scariest things. Like you already have a disruptor flute out, which they need to interact with. So
Yep.
here you want to close out the game as fast as possible.
Yeah.
So in this instance,
Just
exiling I think is playing a little bit too safe,
yeah.
where you're trying to over interact with them instead of executing your own game plan. I think
Should just draw some
scrying
cards.
here,
Yeah.
yeah, just scrying and drawing will probably get you the land for
Yeah.
Ugin, and also you want to dig for Khan because as soon as you find Khan, you play the Khan, you get Tormund script, you cast Tormund script, and now you've got two things that they are going to very much
It's it's
struggle to play
it's like
through.
that tempo thing you were talking about earlier. I
Mhm.
I technically become the aggressor when I when
Yes,
I drop that.
when you're putting pressure on uh you've already disrupted their game plan and you want to close it out before they draw an out to your disruptor flute and torment script. So yeah. hmm so okay, here I'd honestly just play the Mind Stone. I think you play a Devourer of
Yeah,
Destiny.
I realize, yeah, because I've obviously I realize I can't play
Mhm.
Ugin, and so I play Devour. It just in my head, it's to okay, I need to put on some pressure. Um,
It's definitely against any other deck. I would completely agree. But a couple of things of how, with the current board state, of why it wouldn't be as good. One, if they do cast a living end, this just dies.
yeah, and I
So,
think I just for
yeah.
some reason as well, and again, this is just my matchup
Mm,
experience. In my head, Living End just brings stuff back from their graveyard. It doesn't get
yeah.
also board wipe me as well.
Usually there won't be stuff on the board when they board wipe.
Yeah,
So, especially when you're playing Tron. So it's not usually a thing that comes up. Secondly, because you did exile the graveyard, it means that when they do reanimate, they're not reanimating much. So having two Devourer of Destinies that can then remove the stuff they reanimate
yeah,
is like you can actually beat their reanimation if it isn't Violent Outburst,
yeah.
right? Um, and plus, you have the dismember on top of that. Uh, but another good way to look at it, when you exiled here, right? You had the um Devour of Destiny for one of them, Dismember for the other.
Yeah.
So, like, again, Dismember, you shouldn't have any list, but if you do, and in this case you have ways to deal with them casting Living End, so you're not actually that scared of it. Um, and yeah, so here you cast Devour of Destiny. Um, they cycle a couple things, and I think they end up casting a Living End at some point. See, the idea of you want to apply pressure before they can find an out is good. You should be doing this. I just think the way the board is set up in this specific example isn't favorable to do that. I'd much rather wait a turn to get an Ugin down,
Mm.
start drawing more cards, gaining
I
life,
mean, that was the
and
game
yeah.
plan, but Magic players also can't count, so yeah.
Mm, and yeah,
And then
and
yeah, Force
here
of Vigor.
Force of Vigor into Living End, and I think the game.
Yeah, I just don't draw. I just don't draw any answers for
Yeah.
the end.
hmm Um. Yeah, I don't think too much else happens. Yeah, you kill it.
Yeah,
You
because
just
I just don't have mana to play anything. So I
yeah.
just
But for example, this is something that could have been fixed as well if you had uh with Kozilek's command
yeah, I
scryed
could
and
have
then
found the
drawn.
land and then been in a much
hmm
better spot. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
if you had, for example, you'd maybe like be able to cast all his dust on this thing. So yeah, that's that matchup. I think like you said, you weren't very experienced in the matchup, which is fair enough. Like, look, meta knowledge is something you'll get with experience, and your gameplay will get better as
Yep.
you know how like opponents deck play and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, this is the Tron Mirror. This was an odd game. Firstly,
Yeah.
uh, this hand I think is incredible.
Okay.
I'm
Explain why.
very
Because
surprised
again,
you like it.
I'm looking at
Yeah.
it just being like, I feel like it
hmm
doesn't do anything. So again, I've obviously I've got the mindset of I still at this point I still have the mindset of there's no point casting Kozilek's command for x equals 1 or
Yes.
2. So obviously now knowing that I know Kozilek's command is obviously infinite, it is
hmm
acceptable to do that. Sure. Also, it was the whole just Chalice with no information felt like a
Yes.
dead card. And then Dismember again was like, if I am against just a control matchup, it feels like it doesn't do anything. So to me,
hmm
I'm looking at a 5 card hand here.
Yeah.
Um,
So the thing is, you all your cards will not do stuff against certain matchups.
yeah.
That is, and when you're keeping an opening hand, you just want your hand to be as general as possible. Now, Chalice in Modern right now. So again, against Tron, this is a mulligan. But in the blind, this is probably a hand I'd keep. You've got playing Tenwell and Eldrazi Temple, and then passing. I don't think you play Chalice of the Void on 0 unless your opponent really has an affinity vibe about them, you know?
Yeah.
But um, you have, if they're on something like Boros Energy or Prowess or any aggressive deck,
Mm.
you have a really good hand to deal with
Oh,
that. Chalice on 1,
like again, yeah. If I know that
hmm,
this is an aggro deck, this is a snap keep. Like,
yeah.
yeah,
But the thing is, it's also a hand that lets you do for more. Kozak's command is ridiculously broken.
yeah,
Even casting it for x equals 2, it makes 2 mana, it scries you 2 and draws you a card. So like it can dig you 3. It's it can, if they do play a creature, you can remove it. A lot of the um metagame, right, is does have creatures. Something like Goryo's, it can answer a frog, right?
Yeah.
In Boros, it obviously answers a lot of creatures. In Prowess, it'll answer creatures. Obviously, there will be some things you lose to, but looking, I think I exaggerated when I said amazing hand. It's not that amazing, but I definitely think on the blind it's capable because you have good interaction and disruption pieces, and your mana is decent.
Yeah.
So yeah, here, this obviously way better hand. Um, the I think you bottom like this would
I think
always
I
be a key.
bottom a Tron land potentially because I just get my.
Yes. So
Or do actually
the
no? Do I think I
Trinispheres,
I might actually put back a sphere because I think I don't need. I know don't need more than one sphere. Maybe I can't
um,
remember.
okay. So
Oh no, I do the Tron
you
land. Okay.
cool. Well, you've improved, right? You now know you don't need more than one sphere. The
Yeah.
matchups where you do want this, they usually can't answer the first sphere, so you don't need the
Yeah.
second one as endurance, right? Um, but yeah, here it's the Tron Mirror. Uh,
Tron
there's
stuff.
yeah, quite a bit of durdling by both of you guys. Yeah,
So is this position here where I should have Kozilek's at sorcery?
yes. Here you have Kozak's command here, right? If you cast it for 7, you dig 5 cards, or 6 if you don't like any of them, right? You dig 5 cards, you get 5 mana back. If Khan is anywhere in those, Kozilek's commanding at sorcery speed means you get to look at the top of your library, you find your Khan, and you play your Khan this turn,
Yep.
right? And that is crippling for your opponent. Trinisphere does absolutely nothing.
Yep.
Uh, like maybe they're if they had a map, they would have played it by now. Uh, it does nothing. It sucks that it's in your hand. Obviously, a second tower would be great, but this is an instance where you definitely want to Kozilek's command. Your opponent does a smart play here. I think what they're thinking is you casting a Trinisphere here is means that you're going to follow up with a Khan,
Yep.
and so without them having Disruptive Flute available. So they preemptively Disruptive Flute naming Khan,
Yep.
uh, in case you have it as your next spell.
Yep.
Um, so it's a pretty good play by your opponent, but yeah,
And turns
whatever.
out I'm a bad player. Good play by them, but didn't matter because I'm bad.
Yeah, they yeah, they have that. Uh,
And
yes.
yeah, now I do it because obviously
Now you
that's
do it, you because they're definitely going to take it. You do the correct thing. Ulamog is the best card in this matchup.
yeah.
And putting this in hand so they can take it, so that you keep your Ulamog is good. Um. So yeah, for example, here, if this Trinisphere was a tower, you'd be able to cast it immediately.
Mm.
Um. But oh wait, 7. Oh,
I
you
get
cast it
lucky.
anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just
yeah.
better to be lucky than good.
You had the spawns. So yeah, here. Okay, they concede. Yeah, fair enough. Out of curiosity, what would you have gotten rid of
Probably they're two Tron
here?
lands.
Yeah, okay, cool. Uh, I feel like some players might fall into the trap of taking the Thought Knots here, but it's putting absolutely no pressure if you have an
Yeah,
Ulamog.
as a Tron player, I know that just losing my lands is like the worst thing ever.
um, and so yeah, here, so sideboarding in the Tron Mirror is a really good example of when you should be bringing cards in.
Yep.
You have several cards that are completely useless in the matchup. All is Dust has genuinely zero text because all their stuff is colorless. all your stuff is colorless, it says 7 mana,
Yeah.
I enable Ugin's Labyrinth,
Yeah.
right? Which honestly is not the worst text to have in the world, but there's definitely you can definitely do better. But the since you've seen Thought Knots here, you keep in the Dismembers.
Yep.
But you definitely the Chalice of the Void again does kind of nothing. The only possible instance where you'd want it is if you're on the play, you have an Ugin's Labyrinth opening, and you Chalice on one to basically ensure yourself against turn one map,
Yep.
right? Which they need to fix their mana base. But
So here
the,
you would obviously, so all is dust, potentially chalices, and then what? We're bringing in.
Trinispheres as well. So you've got a lot of cards you want to cut.
Yep.
Now, Stonebrain is a card in this matchup which you want in your main board because essentially you can crack the Stonebrain before it's even possible to get Tron. If you have
Oh, yep.
and like if you have Khan out, they've probably had a chance to establish Tron already,
Yep.
and the Stonebrain will just take something like their Khan, right?
Yep.
Something really nice with the Stonebrain as well is that with Khan, it recurs itself. So you just get infinite access to this card.
Yep.
As long as you, of course, draw it before um,
Yeah.
Khan.
Now,
If it's in
like
your deck, you can't.
with the whole just bringing in the ones off as well, because it's making sense
Mhm.
now with, again, Kozilek's command just digging me infinite cards anyway. Like,
Exactly.
I'm probably going to find this one of that I put in my deck.
Exactly. So here I'd take out the Trinispheres, All Is Dust, Chalices. I would bring in the Stonebrain for the potential high roll of just playing it on um, turn two,
Yep.
or even turn one with Labyrinth, and then immediately cracking it. You can name Tower, and
Yep.
they've had zero opportunity to get Tron throughout the game. So that's one I bring in. Bring in Disruptor Flutes again. Similar reason, it's just a good piece of interaction, which you can, if they get their con down first, you can flash it in.
Yep.
The best target for this is Khan, and if you have Khan and grab it, you don't really want to name Khan with it.
Yep.
Um, and again, if you open Ugin's Labyrinth, they open land map, you play Disruptor Flute naming map, and
Hmm.
you're pretty happy with that exchange.
Yep.
This is also a matchup where I'd bring in either Cityscape Leveler or Extinguisher Battleship.
Yep.
It's kind of like Chef's Choice on this one. Um, both of them have the text of Destroy Your Permanent, which is a really valuable piece of text. And if you get Khan, you're very likely to get one of these, but very rarely will you need both.
Yeah, I think
So,
I'm also reminded in this matchup as well that Extinguisher Battleship hits lands, whereas
yes,
Leveler doesn't.
correct. So, again, um, does Leveler know?
Level, le-
Yeah, it's an online permanent.
yeah,
Yes. So again, there's arguments for both. Honestly, both. I'm not exactly sure which is correct to bring in, but bringing in one of them is definitely correct. And if you have enough mana to cast them, getting one of them and then a walking ballista is probably better than getting one of them and then the other anyway.
yeah,
So one, two, so 1, 2, 3, 4 are cards that you'd want to bring in. I think that you'd cut Trinispheres and Chalice of the Voids over All Is Dust just because, like, realistically in the matchup, none of these cards have any text.
yeah,
And so you're not really like you have 5 cards with no text, at least one of them can go under Ugin's Labyrinth, right?
yeah.
Um so yeah, that's kind of the idea of how you'd probably want to sideboard. Um I don't know if you make any
Yeah,
changes.
I'm pretty sure I just hit submit.
Oh yeah, deck submitted there. Cool. So yeah, cool. Um, opening hand is incredible. You have Ugin. You've got the Devourer. You've got an Ugin's Labyrinth. You've got Tron with two maps. You've got Kozilek, so you can Kozilek's on two if you want. If this sees a Khan, then you're like jumping for joy as well. Cool. So, what would let's see what you get here.
Surely I take the flute.
Uh, I think you take the mine. Okay.
Oh, because I'm probably then thinking because I'm aiming for Tron.
Yes. Yes. Which you've kind of fallen into the trap of you're
Must
hyper
get Tron.
focusing on Tron.
Yeah.
Yes. You saw one, you saw another, you're like, oh my god, I'm so close. Here, they've opened map. The issue with flute here is if you take flute, right? Is that you have two maps. You would disable your own maps if
Yeah.
you do that. So
I mean,
I think mine here.
I think realistically, I wouldn't even have considered naming map. It was just
Mhm.
get it to shut off Khan. I think is
Yeah.
the thing in my head.
I think here because you can do the thing of labyrinth flute stop it, but then your hand is like you kill two cards in your hand as well. So I think if you didn't have the maps in hand, I think disruptive flute is great.
Yeah.
Cause even if you had one, because you have two, I think it just is a little too bad for you. So yeah, I think as is mine is okay. Um, yeah, blah blah blah. Go forward a bit. They play their second map, which is funny.
Yeah.
And you're ahead in Tron here as well, which is awesome. Yep, correct before Khan. Good job.
Yeah.
And then play your plant and you play the Devourer of Destiny. Cool. So I like this play because it immediately puts pressure on the Khan
Yep.
to answer it. The card they got it's Sky Sovereign,
Yep.
which they got that as insurance against if you play Khan, right?
Yep.
Which again, good like foresight by the opponent. Here, you're immediately threatening to kill their Khan back, which is good. It means that instead of grabbing a utility piece, they need to get something to protect their Khan, which hinders them.
I think they get bridge here.
Yeah, they get bridge and then just cast it with Ugin, I believe, which is good. And I think you get at some point you get Kozak's command. This is a beautiful spot to just Kozilek's at sorcery speed. You are currently doing absolutely nothing,
Yeah.
right? Passing here, like, because Kozilek's command gives you your mana back, you can do a lot with that mana. Even Kozilek's command into Kozilek's command is a very reasonable, like, thing to do to just search for some form of action, right? But here you just pass, which
Because again,
lets your
I'm
opponent.
going Kozilek instant speed is all I'm
Yes,
thinking.
exactly. It's kind of like Brainstorm. Brainstorm is a really good sorcery speed spell as well as an instant speed because of being able to like put stuff on top and fetch. But yeah. So you do that. I think you find an Ugin off this. Sorry. I think you find an Ulamog at some point. Honestly, here, uh, I think you put this on top. I think that's wrong. Ugin does does a lot less in this matchup than you'd like it. Just because it doesn't exile anything on ETB right now as well. You're under a lot of pressure from their planeswalkers,
Yeah.
and you want to
I mean,
search for something
yeah,
better
in my head,
almost.
my thought process is Ugin is gonna be 7 mana, draw a card.
Yeah,
Which obviously, again, as we've discussed with Kozilek's command, I should be thinking to do
yeah.
that instead.
You get
But
to Kozak's command for 9 plus 7. So you get to a Kozilek's command for 14 here,
Yeah.
right? And then you get 14 mana to play with. So you're pretty good on what you want to like grab. Um, I think you also go for I think yeah, you top deck the Ulamog, which is again best possible card to top deck.
Yep.
Uh, and here you target these two. Now the idea behind it is reasonable. You kill these, you attack Khan, you are winning.
And and obviously, as I soon learn, I completely forget that my opponent can
Also
just
has a Kozilek's command.
yeah.
Yes. Um, the thing is with the bridge, if you are in this position, like again, you have Kozilek's command, and one thing which I think you do way later on in the
Yeah,
game
it's game 3 I
is
do that.
um no, but like a way to deal with bridge is to animate it with Khan and then dismember it,
Yeah,
and you have the
I do that
dismember.
later on.
So the bridge isn't even really that threatening or stopping you from attacking with Ulamog, right? If
Yeah.
you take their two planeswalkers here, yes, you can't attack, but they are under so much pressure to find an answer to what you're doing.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, and then you try attack Khan here. They um they Kozilek's command your creature, which is
No,
unfortunate,
I
but
think they
you
yeah,
left yourself. Oh yeah, no,
they
actually
just
they
token
just
and draw.
chomp block,
Yeah.
which yeah, um, even better. Um, which honestly, I'm surprised they didn't exile this and chomp, because Ulamog's pretty scary. But look, they still have Khan here. It kind of makes sense. Um, I'm not here to critique the opponent anyway. Uh, so yeah. Um, the issue with this is you just left yourself open to get blown out by this play when you had a safe line with a little bit less upside,
Yeah.
but um, yeah, you instead of taking the safe line, you took the risky line with marginally more upside.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I think using the spawns here for not Kozilek's command is also a mistake.
Yeah.
Kozak's command is just completely broken. Um, and yeah.
Because then, yeah, I
Um,
think it's at this point he can't go and gets his
I think he
battleship
gets
destroyer thing and switches off Tron.
mm,
So
do
now
you
I'm
have
in
a
it.
cityscape leveler? Yeah.
Yeah.
So he just kills your Ugin here, which like whatever. Um, then yeah, they get to do their stuff. They play Khan. They get they get the ensnaring bitch back because it's exiled. Play it. You can't attack again. And yeah. Look, you should just be casting Kozilek's
Yeah.
command as often as you can. Ugin does just simply does not do enough. In this matchup. I think you guys kind of go into garbage time a little bit, where you're doing stuff back and forth with little impact, and
Yep.
then um, I don't think there were too many like interesting decisions to be made. Like yeah, okay. So here you cast Kozak's command for many. Um,
Which is what I should have done ages ago.
yes, but at least you get to do it. Um,
Oh yeah, this is my favorite part of the game.
mhm. And then you cool. So, uh, you see Ulamog. That's the only fucking card that matters here because you can
Yep.
uh mess with him. Um, and then yeah, put it on top, and you draw. Oh, I skipped a little too far. Um, so you yeah, and then yeah. Okay. So um here um you cast it exactly.
Yep.
Now I would potentially even wait a turn because what you have Dismember in hand. So on their turn, uh what you get to do is you can uptick on the ensnaring bridge and then dismember it. They have a dismember, so it ends up kind of like solving itself, right? But if they didn't have the dismember, you wouldn't be able to kill the
I,
ensnaring bridge, and you
yeah,
wouldn't really be able to disrupt them
I could still
much.
kill the ensnaring bridge. It would be their turn, draw to 4, uptick Khan, attack snaring bridge into Emrakul.
Oh yeah.
That's why I did it, because
Yeah, yeah.
I
No, no,
knew I
no.
could get rid of, like, this was my window to get rid of
Yes, true.
bridge, but then it just happened that they just had everything I needed.
Mm. Yeah, that's a good point. In my head, you also like you want to get rid of this to attack with Cityscape Leveler, and then you can destroy their own Khan with
Yeah,
it
I mean,
as
obviously,
well. If you
yeah,
had one extra mana here, obviously you go for the Dismember.
yeah.
I
It was
doing
when
this is
just again, just my opponent just happened to have everything I
yeah,
needed.
but you do this turn correctly. One thing you do as well with the Kozilek's command is you scry and draw for yourself instead of for them, which
Uh,
getting to
oh,
scry
I could have just
12
stacked their deck
and
with
then just put
lands.
like 8 lands on
Yeah.
top is just you
Yeah.
bottom every useful card and then fill the top of the library with just like
Because
Trinispheres and
I
all.
immediately get punished for not doing that
Yes,
as well.
correct. And then I think they top deck Ulamog
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah, it's just they topped
Um
it the perfect
oh yeah.
answer for this
Yeah,
particular
they
state.
top deck another Kozilek which lets them Ulamog
Yeah.
and then puts them right back in the game. And I think you close this one out.
I do, yeah.
But look,
I think I
13 mana Emrakul lines are very unique and every single one is different. Um so yeah, I'm very happy you didn't fall for the trap of destroying Ulamog because that
yeah.
indestructible is really low down in the text box and yeah. But honestly here the killing Erugan's fine. Uh
I
Killing one of
think
their Tron lands is another consideration
that
as well.
because there's a couple of things that I realized, like an oh shit, but then I don't know if it was because of just my dumb luck earlier. So when I K commanded
Mm.
myself, I stacked my deck where I had 3 Khans in a row. And I was
Yeah.
like, in my head, it's like, okay, this feels like the most important card in the matchup. I won all of them.
Hmm.
And then it turns out it did pay dividends because what was the point where, oh, that's right. I was
Uh,
worried about Ulamog attacking me. Um,
yes.
and then I remembered, oh wait, I've just stacked my library full of Khans, so draw with Ugin, get my second Khan, and then play bridge and stop
Hmm.
them from attacking me.
Yeah, this is the cards you saw.
Yeah,
So, like to be fair, if you did it on them, I think
yeah,
it's pretty game ending and giving yourself spawns awesome. You don't need 3 cons. I reckon you definitely want the first one.
yep.
I'd say another Emrakul is probably the next thing you'd want. Um and then maybe put a third Khan under it for ensure, or even Ugin to draw into a Khan under it in this situation. But putting 3 Khans in a row is definitely not the uh correct thing to do. Uh yeah, I think you bottom everything other than the Khans.
And the Emrakuls,
Or
I think.
maybe
Yeah.
yeah, and the Emrakul. Yeah, top.
I
Oh,
put
one
the
thing you
Emrakul
do,
under the Khans.
yeah, you put the Emrakul, and you also put a mine in between, so you'd be able to play both, which is a good, um,
Yeah.
no,
This
yeah, you top
puts
it
me back to
so that you
Tron.
can play, yeah, which is definitely good. So yeah, I think this is a, uh, yeah, In this situation, they top deck out of it, which again, this is an example of like you could have definitely lost from this position,
Hmm.
and this is a thing where you might be like, "Oh, it's so unlucky they managed to top deck a Kozilek's command," right? But you had a way of controlling that
Hmm.
luck, and
Yep.
had you played differently, they would not be able to make this line. So yeah, but I think you managed to close it out pretty convincingly. You get the ensnaring bridge, and I forgot how this game ends.
I think yeah, they just scoop.
Yeah, I think they just got bored with it.
Yeah.
um, I think it's definitely not over. Uh,
Uh,
but
for me, yeah, in
it's
my
gonna
head,
go.
I've got Emrakul coming up.
Mhm.
So I'm sure there's nonsense that I do with that. Uh,
Yeah. The thing
but
is, they have Ulamog, so it's definitely very much not over.
yeah.
But they, they have two Devourer of Destinies in their hand.
Hmm.
They also have the 10 rings under this, which they could cast. So they have a draw 10 available. But, yeah, I think you had an opportunity to finish the game and you didn't really do it. But yeah, uh, that's it. Those two games. I think the other games we can go over them. I think I'm happy to go over them a little more quickly. There were some in the prowess game was just a little weird. I don't
Yeah,
think there
that was
was too much.
one of
To,
my friends. She was
mm,
testing out prowess with Kaito.
mm. Yeah, I saw that and I saw the Kaido and I was like
Yeah, she
completely taken off guard by it.
yeah, she messaged me and was like, "I'm trying some things out." I'm like, "Yeah, sure."
Mm.
Uh,
So yeah, I'm happy to talk about opening hands here
yeah, yeah, yeah.
because
That's
that's
good.
something we can definitely like have a takeaway from anything. So yeah, this one's a mulligan. Ugin's Labyrinth isn't even getting 2 mana
Yep.
here. Uh, there's yeah, much better hand. Um, hmm There's an argument for both. I I don't. I think it's pretty reasonable to do either.
Yeah,
It's
in
definitely
my
one of
head,
them.
it's the whole Emrakul is technically cheaper. Um,
Hmm
and then,
Fair.
yeah, as we've discussed before, I
Yeah,
wasn't sure
you
about
should
doing one
be
or
doing
both.
both. So, for example, here, this is a situation where the second one would be really good because
Mm,
you get to get rid of all of these and then dig another four. Um, and yeah. Did you end up keeping one?
I would have because I've forgotten that you can, or maybe do I
Mm.
hit no? I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure
you can
I
click
do.
no.
Yeah,
Uh, Trinisphere ends up being really good in the matchup though because it's prowess.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, and they just did not have much they were doing. You
hmm,
put down a Trinisphere. This is an example of the tempo swinging in your favor with the Trinisphere because they kind of like do nothing, and then as soon as you play a Devourer of Destiny,
yeah,
you kind of run away with the game. Um, Here, I taking a Walking Ballista is really good because they're essentially limited to one spell a turn, right?
yep,
And you can play your ballista for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so x equals 2. But if you top deck a land, especially, um, what you get to do is play ballista for 3, and that means that you block the Swift Spear, and then if they do play something that grows it, you just ping in response to the prowess
yep.
and kill it.
I'm pretty
And
sure
it kind
that's
of
what ends up happening
I think
anyway.
you do that eventually, and also just having it, and then under the Trinisphere, you're really safe. So you just have time to just put 4 mana into the ballista, put 4 mana into the ballista several times to just grow it, right? I think when
I
you
took I
plus it,
yeah, I took a turn off because I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing
yeah,
here.
look, the situation was hard. I think, and also like I get the idea of you wanting to make sure they can't kill the Khan, because like if you minus, they can just bolt it, kind of thing. Um,
Yeah, I it was
but
in
yeah,
my head. It was the whole. I've already got them on Trinisphere, so they're playing one additional spell. If they
mm,
attack Khan, that's like I guess 6 life that I gained because I'm also drawing into any land here gets me. Wait, does it 2, 4?
mm,
Almost any land gets me Devourer, or at
devour,
least I'm
yeah.
drawing into that. So I was just like, not sure. I think I can take a turn off.
One thing to note as well, if they did have the bolt and they bolt Khan and then swing into Khan,
Yep,
he's left on one, and then you never actually get a chance to grab anything.
yep,
So yeah, I think you just grab the ballista here for when you get a land. Extinguisher battleship is also awesome
yep,
because they have small power scratches. You could do that. I think it's just the walking ballista, which you do next turn. You do it correctly. Um, yeah, you play ballista. You play it for 6, and then do they concede at some point? Yeah,
yeah. They
expressive
game's
iteration
pretty
here
much
is
over. Yeah.
just yeah. Doo, doo. Yeah, just an easy block. Okay, well, yeah. And then exiling that is
Yep.
otherwise you could just like pay 4 to put a counter on it, ping this twice,
Yep.
get a liquid metal coating off the Khan, and then start blowing up their lands from
Yep.
that point. Um yeah, so again, sideboarding. Um in a situation like this, you definitely want uh some cards. Again, stuff like Ensnaring Bridge, you definitely keep to protect uh Khan.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not as good a top deck. It's mainly something you want to play with Khan. But having the Trinisphere in the main board, I think, is a lot more valuable here.
Yep.
You could cut something like uh probably an Ulamog or an Emrakul. They're just not as needed in the matchup. Just cut one of these, add a Trinisphere, have another out to slow them down. Um, and yeah. So, uh, but and game two, they
I
just
just
kind of
got.
like
Well, I think
have
this one I God
and
Draw as well.
yeah, and they have no pressure. Um, and yeah, this is incredible hand. Bobble against Prowess is great. You have a removal spell. You have Kozilek's command. You're so happy
Uh,
with everything that's going on in your hand here.
yeah.
And then I don't think too many interesting decisions had to be made. They kind of just did not do much. Um, Against the red green Eldrazi, it came up a couple times where you devour and then didn't reveal both.
Yeah.
Uh,
But
if
again, it was the whole
yeah,
just.
like it's one thing that you now know it makes sense that you make a mistake like that several times and not once. Because it's just like you're staying consistent. Um, uh, cool.
Yeah, because
Uh,
again, knowing that I'm coming into the coaching session, I was like, I'll just do what I
mhm.
normally do and then ask the
Yeah,
question.
for sure. The This hand is it's a turn 3 con, and you've got you're on the play, you have a bauble, you also have a disruptor flute. I think it's not the best keep in the world, but it's definitely like good enough
Yeah,
to keep.
I
This is one
it
of those that's like on the edge.
yeah, it was like it had a bit of everything, and I'm like,
Mhm.
just not again, not 100% sure, but the fact that yeah, as I said, had a bit of
Yeah,
everything, thought it'd be fine.
nice. I like playing the temple here. I don't know if you thought about it too much, but playing the temple here is nice because it puts you in the position of top decking a Kozilek's command.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Um, nice. Yeah. Well, power plant, the odds of you the next two top decks being tower than mine is pretty low.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, but I think you kind of just the game gets played. Here I'd probably play the power plant. Oh, actually, you have Devourer this turn because Eldrazi
Yeah.
Temple plus Mindstone. Um, you also have Khan. um,
Yeah,
and
here is just
then
can't shut off their. So in my head, I'm
mhm,
stressing that they're going to play the thing that blows up my land, the Eldrazi that blows up my land, sowing
yes,
microspawn. So I
yep, yep,
wanted
yep.
to switch off or at least slow that down.
No, Khan. I got a little bit sidetracked by that, but Khan is definitely the correct play here. You also get to shut off one of their mana.
Yeah, which is that. So
The
that's the what I had in mind was I get to
yes.
shut that off, and then that stops them from potentially sowing microspawn one of my lands.
Mhm.
Um,
Uh, Another thing you can always do is just when you get a chance to play Disruptor, just play it and name Myco Spawn.
yep,
It's the scariest card in the matchup, and it just like the yeah. But liquid metal coating's good, and then you start
I
yeah,
just start blowing up lands. I think at this point.
yeah, and that's pretty uh straightforward. Yeah, you take them off 2 mana. Uh, then
I don't think they do much from here. I think it's
yeah,
really
I
just
don't.
Khan takes
There
over.
was one thing. Um. Oh yeah, I think here you went for the commercial district. I think again this doesn't matter too much. Okay, no, you went for the Eldrazi Temple, which is better. It just takes them on 2 mana instead of one.
That's exactly
Because
that. Yeah.
yeah, right now they're choked on mana, not choked on colors. Uh, yeah, and then they just concede. Yep. Uh, Here sideboarding. This is a matchup where you I because they're red green Eldrazi and you saw some of their stuff. I'd probably keep the dismembers. Again, you played a lot of colorless mirrors in this thing.
Yeah,
All this dust
never.
is
To be honest,
you
I probably forgot that it was in the deck and just,
mm,
just didn't see it.
like
But now that you
you
mention it, it's like, oh yeah, that's easiest cut of my life.
yeah, but same as like Trinisphere and Chalice of the Void, none of them are doing that much. Like uh there's more cards you want to cut than put in, really.
Yeah,
What did you put in?
Disruptor Flute.
Another Disruptor Fleet, yeah. Uh but against stuff like the Eldrazi versions of Tron, I'd I think the first card you want to cut is Trinisphere.
Yep,
Chalice of the Void is honestly playable as X equals 3 or X equals 4.
yeah,
Like, you get to that amount of mana, and if you stop them from being able to play their Glowing Flesh Rakers, their Sowing Myco spawns, it's good. Again, it's not great, but it's better. It's doing more than Trinisphere essentially here,
yeah.
right?
I think I looked up the list. I can't remember if one of the lists I saw was running Brood
Mm.
Scale combo.
Yeah.
Um, so that's in my head as well. That's another reason where I'm just like, I can
Mm.
keep both of those in because they
Mm-hmm.
can, yeah, both sit on the right numbers.
Yeah. This is a hand that's I it looks really good, right? Because you have two Tron lands, you have an Adjusted Temple, you have a Mind Stone, but Ugin doesn't do much in this game and you don't have a ton of draw. I think the again, this is a very borderline hand, and will probably depend on kind of like the mood, how lucky you're feeling and stuff. More than anything, just because, yeah. But I don't know what this could be a mulligan, just because you're actually the first couple of turns is mainly you watching your opponent,
Yeah.
unless you get some good top decks. Um,
Yeah, I think
I'm pretty
so.
sure.
In my head, if I remember rightly, it's okay. Well, Vexing Vorpal is just draw a card, and then Mind
Mhm.
Stone can become draw a card.
Yeah.
But I just naturally draw Tron,
Mm.
so that I no, sorry, I don't naturally draw Tron. I thought it was the other land.
No, you
Oh, I do.
do.
Okay.
But exactly, it's like the thing is, if you're planning to cycle Vexing Bauble anyway, it's like having a six card hand. You may as well mulligan to
Yep.
see other stuff instead. Um, hmm,
Yeah.
yeah,
Thankfully, my opponent just didn't do anything either.
yeah. Again, your opponent, them sowing Micah spawning here is terrifying. I honestly have no idea they were, what they had in hand, because they have 6 mana here and just don't, I guess.
Yeah.
What did they add with the Malevolent Rumble? Uh, doesn't matter. Actually matters a little bit. Where's their, yeah, so the Malevolent Rumble and
Oh, they took the Utopia Story.
they get an Eldrazi Temple.
Oh, is
Eldrazi
it?
Temple.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yes, it says here. Um, yeah. So they, it looks like they were mana screwed, but Jesus, their hand must have been expensive. Um, and yeah, Getron, you play Ugin, you draw some. Yeah, you have a target. Let's go.
Yeah.
Disruptive food makes sense, but doesn't matter too much. Uh, oh, it was a Ghost Quarter, not a second Eldrazi, so they were on 5 mana, which is less, I guess. Um, yeah, nice. And you get the Kozak's command. So this is, again, this is a spot where you should be Kozak's commanding at
Yeah, and I'm
sorcery
pretty sure
speed.
I just instant speed it.
Yeah. Because you have 1, 2, 4. You do X=4. You have an opportunity to play a Khan.
Yeah.
And take the game from there. Uh, yeah. One thing with your expedition map as well. Uh, here.
Yeah, I took a second
When.
mine because so in my head, on their turn, they're going to play Sowing Microspawn and destroy one of my
Mhm.
Tron pieces. And in my
The
head,
thing.
they're going to
Yeah.
destroy mine, is my thought process.
Yep. So the thing is, right, that if they see you grab mine, they're no longer going to destroy mine, right? There's no point of it because you have your backup. In
To
this
be honest,
instance,
as
because
well,
you
I
already have
completely
Tron.
didn't see that they had Ghost Quarter. Like, I didn't realize it was
But yeah.
Ghost Quarter. I was just all in on they're going to microsynth spawn me. That's what's going to happen.
Mhm. Also, grabbing another mine completely telegraphs you have tower in hand, because
Yeah.
why would you not grab tower?
Yeah.
So the important thing with this kind of is, in situations you already have Tron, just sit on the map, because if your opponent has ways to interact with your land, sit on the map,
Yeah.
because
Yeah. Good idea.
just crack it and grab whatever they end up destroying instead of, if you want the mana, it's
Yeah. I
like a
should have just,
ritual with tower,
yeah.
because tower adds 3, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, you're off Tron, but you end up playing Kozak's command, and I think they just concede or something
Yeah.
after,
Because
because they've done nothing for like several turns.
yeah, now I'm about to dig
Um,
and get rid of one of their Utopia sprawls as well.
mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
and then the Eldrazi game was the last one you sent. Again, so opening hands.
So here, the magic gods
Yeah,
gift me turn 2 Khan, and I'm pretty sure I just throw it away.
yeah. So this is a this is beautiful. One thing again, like reveal both, but already
Yep.
gone over that. Um, uh, yeah, what do you keep with that? Right. Um, so here, honestly, the decision's a little hard. I think you just grab Kozilek's command because the card's busted.
Yep.
um, again, you don't know what your opponent's on. This just it covers everything.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that's my thought process as well. Like,
um,
I've already got all my threats.
yeah. I'm surprised you put the Emrakul under. At least, definitely for the first one, I'd put a Devourer because you're going to put a Devourer under it anyway.
Mhm.
So delaying making the choice is good because if you see that they're a deck that you really want the Emrakul against,
Yep.
it's nice. Um, but yeah. Um, so they Ugin's Labyrinth, I think.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
basically
then
we
Khan.
mirror the first 2 turns, and then
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure
Which
I screw up
is
here.
pretty funny. I think you take the liquid metal, which is definitely correct. Um, like, and then they also get a, their con, which is quite funny. Um, what do they get though? This is a time where Sky Sovereign would be really great to
Mm.
have in the board. Um, I think that's you should definitely find room for that in your sideboard, just because even what you're seeing online, there's a lot of cons,
Yep.
but the it's a pretty popular deck, and I feel like the spotlight will likely have quite a few players.
Yep.
Um, yeah, they're just taking their time to think. They got a disruptive flute. Okay, that's just insurance in case you kill that. You draw the best card in the matchup, which is fun. Um,
I think I can't remember if I played liquid metal coating and then realize, oh wait, I can't activate it.
mm, you're the one meant to be turning off their artifacts. Uh, you grab Leveler, which I think in this specific situation is a tiny bit redundant because of the Ulamog, but it's much easier to get to 8th and 10th from this position, so it makes a good amount of sense.
Yep.
Uh, one thing you could do is just attempt to kneecap both of you guys and get a dampening sphere. And just
I think I did consider that, but then I was like, oh, I want to
you also
cast
have
stuff.
nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And unfortunately, like most of this is just dead into Khan, so there's not too much you can do. Um, they play mine. You see these two. I think you top the command.
Surely I did.
Command's such a broken card. Uh, yeah, good job. uh,
See, it's funny. Before this, I thought K Command was good, and now I'm seeing it's even better.
yeah, and yeah, this. So here, this is. I have absolutely no idea why your opponent conceded. Uh, they. I think they cast Kozilek's command here and then just concede, which you've just missed a land drop. So, oh, you concede. Um, Wait, I don't know. I feel like conceding here is wrong.
So
It's very playable.
yeah, I in my head, I'm thinking they're too far ahead. I should have at least um just waited and
Mm.
cast my own K command. I looking back on this, So my memory, if I hadn't have seen this replay, my memory was they just wrecked me completely and got too far ahead. But
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know why I scooped here.
Like one
I
thing
think so.
that
I'm just doing nothing. Maybe that's why I feel like it's
Mhm.
bad.
if you just cast K command for X equals 4 here,
Mm,
next time you have Cityscape Leveler, you play Cityscape, you
yeah,
blow up their Khan, and then you have Liquid Metal and kill their lands. They do have a Disruptive Flute in hand that you know about, um, as well as I can't remember what the second thing they grabbed was. So you know they have stuff in hand, but you can kind of play around it. And if you blow up their Khan, it's like if they play the Disruptive Flute, you just up to Khan, dismember it, and then your Liquid Metal coating is back on.
yeah,
So yeah. Um, Again, in a Tron Mirror, you want to bring in Stone Brain. I bring in Disruptive Flutes. I'd bring in one of these. Um, it doesn't matter. I'd probably bring in the Cityscape Leveler because Battleship can hit lands, so it can hit more things. Um, so you more want it off Khan.
yeah,
But yeah, cut the Trinispheres, cut the Chalices, cut the All is Dust, and you bring in one, two, three, or one of these two is four, and yeah, maybe keep the All is Dust for Ugins,
yeah.
I guess. Um, yeah. Play, okay. Opening hand. I think it's pretty good, this one.
Yep.
Again, having Chalice kinda sucks. It hopefully it's not a card that you have. If this is a Stone Brain, I think you
Mm,
just instantly win the game because
yep.
you Ugins the Devourer, you play Stone Brain, turn 2, you crack it, you
Yeah.
take either a
Tronland.
Tron land, Khan, so many things. Um that you can name. So yeah. Uh it's a little choppy though. I think this hand just does too little. Even
Mm,
when you're mapping, you're not grabbing that much.
yep.
Devourer does get to look and fix, but in a Tron Mirror, you really want to turn your mana on and get ahead that way.
Yep.
And Tron is a deck that mulligans well, especially with Devourers. So I think this is definitely a hand you can mulligan. Because in the mirror, just getting to as much mana as possible is the most important thing. One upside of this is that now all of Dust is exiled from your library, so you don't need to worry about it anymore. Um, yeah, I think
Should I have kept
the
the
reason
Mind
you take
Stone then?
Ugin is, I think so. Um, it's kind of a so like you need this hand needs a threat, but also you're not really getting to Ugin here, and Ugin is pretty low impact. Uh, I'd probably just get rid of all four.
Yep.
You want something better than this, but in other situations, like the Mind Stone isn't that bad because your turn one can be Ugins into Mind Stone, and you're at least threatening a turn to Khan.
Yep.
And then, worst case, next turn you have map plus crack plus play a land. You're holding up Disruptive Flute. But yeah, I think Ugin here is it just kind of like sits in your hand. Um, yeah, you map exile. That I think this is correct. It lets you hold Disruptive Flute up again. Um, so here in this is a situation where you should absolutely play Disruptive Flute and name map. They played a Tron land plus a map. They're
Mm,
probably going to on turn two play land crack it,
yep.
and this is your only window to play the flute.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah. In my head, like I think I realized my mistake when they played their second Tron land. I was like, oh, I could have done that. In because I think prior to seeing that, I was like, oh, save flute for Khan.
yeah, which even if you do want to just play it now, be mana
Mm,
efficient. It opens you to more top decks because you get to like have it available.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, you dismember their glaring flesh raker the turn before that, which scary card. This is where like even playing this at x=3 here
Mm.
is a very reasonable thing because they have stuff like that. That's like so yeah. Here you can see this is a cyborg card. They chose to put this in over the
Yeah.
cityscape leveler. There's honestly arguments for both. It's so close that it's I don't think one is wrong or right over the other. Um,
And then here, never punished.
yeah. Uh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and
Yeah,
then
I think
9,
I
10
have
in
Ulamog.
Ulamog.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, okay, so what you do here is a does I think lose you the game though. So you do that, you grab Ulamog, um, but you hit their forest,
Yeah.
which is
So
yeah.
yeah, for my reasoning is it turns off Malevolent Rumble. I wasn't sure if they were on Ancient Stirrings, and then it turns
Mhm,
off again Microsynth as well.
yeah. So the thing about it is it lets them it opens them to a top deck of a third Tron land,
Yeah.
right? If they top deck a map, they get Tron back, they're back in the game. If they any of that, they're like this this is a play where if you remove two Tron lands and they Malevolent Rumble, what can they get? They're on 2 mana, right? I think they missed a land drop as well last turn. Or I oh no they haven't. Right? So they've got like if you kill 2 Tron lands, it just removes the possibility of them getting back on Tron, while only removing one of them is like for I don't think they play Ancient Stirrings. Malevolent Rumble is like sure, but it doesn't really do anything. If you Ulamog and they Malevolent Rumble, you just attack them and
Mm,
half their library's gone.
yeah.
Like, oh no, big deal. And if you kill both of these, they can't Sowing Myco spawn.
Yeah.
Um, anyway, just because they just won't have the mana. So I think here you're definitely meant to take 2 Tron lands. Um, but your opponent concedes anyway. So that's good. Same sideboarding thing,
Yep.
whatever. Um, okay. Here you've just been absolutely gifted the natural Tron with Devourer to search for
Mm-hmm.
uh, a threat. So like this is honestly as good a hand as you can hope for. You see your one of Ulamog quite a bit, and it was really impressive in this league just because of how many
Yeah. Yeah.
Tron mirrors you ended up like you play against 3 colorless decks.
Yeah. Just yeah, like you say, it just got me out of so many sticky
Mm,
situations, or just completely
yeah,
rolled my opponent.
yeah. Kozlok's command is just busted, broken card. Leading on the tower, good because you have a second. Um, you're also ahead in Tron because they played the labyrinth.
Yep.
Uh, they play a map.
Yeah, I think we just durdle.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Dodotsi is unfortunate, but you have the Kozlok's command, which, like, they have to take the Khan here. Of course, they
Mm,
take the Khan, but also you just have Kozlok's command. So, like, what are they meant to do? Um, and yeah, here you play Tron again. Sorcery Speed Kozlok's command.
yep.
This is you have 7 mana. This gives you back 5. You can um even like I don't even think that exiling Thought Not Seer here is correct.
I mean,
I'd
yeah,
much
that
rather,
doesn't even cross my mind.
yeah, it's just like that line of text is only relevant in aggressive matchups.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
it's just like you look at you look at five cards, make five spawns, grab them,
I
and
think
then you also open
again
yourself up to another
at this
play.
point it was the whole just holding up flute for Khan. I
Hmm.
think is the other thing.
The good thing is, if you Kozilek's command, you can still hold up Flute for Khan.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, the fact that it gives you mana back is ridiculous, but it's also nice to know what's on top because if you have a Khan, you don't want to disrupt a Flute naming Khan,
yeah.
right? Um, and they Khan, yeah,
So yeah, I
you
think I
do
do
this and then
exactly that.
disrupt a Flute, and you see the Ulamog, which is awesome. Yeah, bottom and
I think here, like I've been playing Disruptor Flute. I mean, yeah, I guess it's fine, but
no, like you
I'm
did
gonna
this
Ulamog either way.
well. Yeah, you did it well. And then here, yeah, I like getting rid of like that and a Tron land. I think you could get rid of the Khan, um, but it is disruptive fluted and answers are few and far between, so
Mm,
there's no point. Um, yeah, there's actually no reason to get rid of the Khan here.
mm,
Taking away their potential for Tron and their 2 mana producing land is just like it just completely closes out their game and doesn't give them an avenue. Like, what's a
yeah,
thought not Sia meant to ever do here? And they
I
just
think yeah,
concede.
that's
So
the
yeah.
game. Yeah,
Mm. So overall, I think you've definitely got good fundamentals. I think your what's suffering is format knowledge, but that's not something that can be learnt in a day. That's
yeah,
just the more reps you play is the the better you'll get at it. And some cards you're just playing wrong. Like
yeah,
just the devouring on upkeep, you should always do all the triggers, and the Kozilek's command. Just remember that it's a sorcery speed spell most of the time. And then also sideboarding, you need to be more flexible with how you're approaching the sideboard.
yeah,
A lot of Tron players, it's like very easy to leave it as a toolbox, but just the timing of when you want spells matters a lot.
yeah.
Some stuff you want like will only be good in turn 1 or 2, at least in games 2 and 3. And so you want them during turn 1 and 2 and not uh wait until you get a calm down
Right.
or access to them. So yeah.
Okay. Well, this has been really good, really valuable. Definitely, obviously, yeah, gonna take this all on board. And when I review the footage to make the video out of this, it'll be good to go through again. And yeah, I hope everybody watching as well got some good information out of this, even if you're not a Tron player. Um, yeah, I really appreciate your time and thank you so
No
much
stress at
for
all.
jumping on and yeah, having a chat.
Well, it's a pleasure. I'll probably talk to you soon.
Yeah, too easy. I'll flick you a message after the stream to sort out all the final bits and bobs.
Easy done.
And then I think we should probably do another one of these. I'll talk to you about it. We'll probably do another one closer to Spotlight, and we can talk about some other
Easy.
things.
Sounds
And
good.
because I think yeah, one thing, the big thing I'd obviously love to get opinions on is the Hobbit. Hobbit is coming out uh soon, like in 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
And I think there's got to be some Tron tech coming out in this new
Yeah,
set.
it looks like a pretty artifact based set. Uh,
So
I'm honestly pretty hyped for the. I'm so glad our spotlight is for The Hobbit instead of like I would have been so sad if the one spotlight that we're gonna get probably for the next 3 years or whatever it is
Yeah.
ended up being like Ninja Turtles. Like if it's universes beyond,
Yeah.
I'm really glad it's The Hobbit because it's
Yeah, the
probably
most
the
least universes beyond of all of
yeah.
the universe
Also, it's
beyond.
just an IP I like.
Yeah,
Plus, I think the last Lord of the Rings set was one of my favorite sets. I really like the draft format.
yeah,
It was a little unpopular, but like, I don't know, I really enjoyed it. So yeah, I'm probably gonna be grinding Arena Directs once
yeah,
the
awesome.
set comes out. And yeah,
All right.
awesome. Well, I'll be off.
Yeah,
I'll yeah,
we'll talk soon.
talk soon. Bye bye.
Appreciate it. Catch you. Bye. All right, chat. I hope that was as informative for you as it was for me. I think that was um, really, really good. So again, if you are just joining us or you've joined us in the middle of that, we are doing training for there's my screen. We're doing training for the Brisbane Spotlight. This is my first competitive, like ultra competitive event that I've done in 16 years. So I wanted to take it seriously uh, and yeah, do some grinding for this event. Again, get to do a lot of the practice thanks to the MTGO team. They have given me an account to let me train. Again, if you happen to be in Australia, you can buy your tickets now for Brisbane Spotlight. I'm going to be there. There's going to be Mengu, Andrea. Is it Mengucci's his last name? I only know him as Mengu from Mengu's Workshop. He's coming down. There are some pretty cool artists as well that are going to be there. RK Post, excellent artist. Kieran Yana, April Prime, Kellogg's Loops. Any Dan fans in the chat? Kellogg's Loops, Alex Stones, Benjamin E, Ravina Kai, James Morley's going to be there. Yeah, is looking to be like a really cool event. Here we go. We got the prize structure here. So main event, first prize, 10,000 USD for first prize. And again, goal, top 64. That this would pay for my trip. This if I win this pays for my trip. But getting top 64 would be awesome. I think making day 2 and getting top 128 I think is more realistic, but we'll see. Now, let's quickly check some other things. I think coaching went slightly over than I thought it was going to be. So I think we're going to delay the MTG God Gamer Gauntlet. I think we're going to delay this because I want to go get some lunch and I'm hungry. So we've been streaming for nearly 3 hours, so that's as much as we want to do. Still got some videos to work on. I am working on a video for what's the guy called? You, this guy. You guys will probably remember him quicker than I do. Working on a video for Tolabo because people are misunderstanding the rules for this card. And I think some of the wording is very interesting. Additional color, not color identity. So working on a video for him. And then I've got some other shorts on the way to talk about the Brisbane Spotlight. So yeah, I think that is going to do it for me this morning. Appreciate everybody stopping by. Hope you all had fun. Thanks for watching. Well, yeah, I'll probably this whole stream, I'm gonna try and edit it down. Well, that's right. I need to stop the recording. I'm gonna try and edit it down into a nice, digestible video for everybody. Yeah, think that's about it. Appreciate everybody stopping by. Thank you so much. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one.